So for some time now, I've been wondering what other kinds of videos I can make while I take a little break from my version differences series. I have so many cool ideas that I want to do, but it's frustrating because a few of them could very well become outdated when Sun and Moon come out. Say for example I wanted to cover my top 10 favorite Pokemon, I could list my favorites now, but once I get more acquainted with the new Pokemon in Sun and Moon, the list would probably change. So I thought, what if I just did a follow-up to one of my already existing videos? And after looking around, I realized that I've only ever done one video on Pokemon card eras, and that just won't do. I'm still as into the trading card game as ever, so this'll be a lot of fun. I tried to dig around and find some eras that are a little more unusual and not covered so much, so I really hope that you find this stuff as interesting as I do. But before we actually get into the video, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the sponsors of this video, being Best Fiends. So when I was asked to sponsor Best Fiends, I had a lot of questions. Like, what exactly is it? Well, Best Fiends is a free to download mobile game. It's a blend of matching puzzles, monster raising, and adventure that I'd never seen in a game before, but it actually works really well. Fiends are these cute little bug-like creatures. The objective of the game is to use the help of fiends to beat the slugs and progress forward. Each fiend has their own unique power. As you progress, you level up and make them stronger. Fiends can evolve 4 times, kinda like Pokemon. The levels get more challenging as you progress through the game, which helps to keep it fresh. I don't have all the fiends yet, but I'd say so far my favorite is Quincy. Shared with Bristle, Quincy's power is definitely the most useful. I haven't been playing for too long, but I'm already at level 36 and I can tell you that it's pretty addictive. There are also in-app purchases that you can make to get bonuses, but not making purchases really doesn't hinder your game's progress at all, which is definitely a great feature for a free-to-download title. There are also leaderboards, so if you have Facebook then you can compete with your friends for high scores. If you want more information or to download the game, then take a look at the description below. But with that said, today we're going to be taking a look at 10 more Pokemon card errors and mistakes. Let's get right to it. Okay, so first up here is an error that I stumbled upon by pure luck. I ordered this really cool Flareon Reverse Holo from EX Unseen Forces as a gift for Brendan, and through a mix-up, I ended up receiving 2. Upon further inspection, the second Flareon card seemed pretty odd in comparison to the first one. Reverse Holos in this particular set look similar to regular Holos, but they have this awesome Pokeball pattern too. But the second Flareon card seemed to have suffered from a printing error, because the Pokeball pattern is cut off partway through the card, so you even have Pokeball halves on it. It's kinda strange, but I count myself lucky because were it not for the mix-up, I never would have even got to see this weird error. Next up, we have a more well-known error. All non-holo versions of the first edition Electrode cards from Jungle feature the wrong artwork, instead featuring the artwork of the Electrode from base set. I find this one pretty funny because if you remember the previous video, there was also an error that impacted early copies of unlimited holofoil Jungle cards, as they were printed without the set symbol. This means that this Electrode card has been printed with 2 different errors on 2 separate occasions throughout its print run. Nice job! It seems that someone at Wizards of the Coast made a typo, because this shining Tyranitar card from Neo Destiny misspells the word just as hust, and the error wasn't even picked up throughout its entire print run. I probably couldn't even read properly when Neo Destiny was released, but seriously, imagine pulling this beautiful shining card only to find that it has a typo on it. The next error card we have would be this Carnivine G promo. The card reads 80 HP, where it should read HP 80, just like the other cards of the Diamond and Pearl era. Now, this one is kinda like a reverse base set Vulpix if you remember my previous video. Vulpix had the same problem, but the Pokemon's HP was formatted the other way around back then. Now here's a card that I stumbled upon by chance. Over the past few months, Pokemon have been releasing these mythical collection boxes. I bought the odd one here and there and opened them up on the channel. One of these would be the Arceus box, and in my first pack I managed to pull a pretty cool Ganga Holo, but this one was kinda strange. For the most part, Holos are only holo in the little Pokemon window, except this Gengar had a holo pattern across the whole card. Pretty cool error if you ask me. I have heard of this error occurring a few other times within the Generation set, but it sure was cool actually being able to see one for myself. Here we have another early card being Butterfree from the Jungle set. Early first edition prints of this card have an error on the first edition stamp, probably because there was an ink bubble present during the printing process. This led to these cards appearing to read Edition D instead of Edition 1. This area is probably, in my opinion, the craziest of the whole list, and that's saying something. I am of course talking about crimped Pokemon cards. This occurs when the pack is being sealed. Very rarely, if a card is out of place, it will get in the way when the pack is being sealed, and will result in this crazy looking error. I'm not sure if these are limited to particular sets, but while doing my research, I found that a lot of crimped cards occur within the Generation 6 sets. I've never pulled one of these from a pack before, but it would be awesome if I did someday. In Call of Legends is a Fambi card that has its name spelled wrong twice. Kinda weird how they managed to spell its name right at the top of the card, but then wrong later on. This area is definitely one of the more strange ones I've seen. So I was browsing through eBay the other day, and I came across this card. Now, before I can explain what's wrong, I'll talk a little bit about full art cards. Full art cards are super rare cards that you can pull from the more recent sets. However, they're not glossy like a regular EXs. Most English full art cards are textured, and have lots of little grooves that match up with the artwork on the card. But this card, being Primal Kyogre secret rare from Ancient Origins, suffered a pretty unfortunate error. Now, I don't know for sure how exactly Pokemon cards are manufactured, but judging by this card, my best guess is that the card is printed first, and then the markings are etched into it at a different stage. The artwork itself on this card looks fine, but the markings on this card are extremely misaligned. It makes it look silly because all the grooves are in the wrong place, but still a pretty interesting error nonetheless. And to wrap up, we have a group of era promo cards from Generation 1. When Pokemon the first movie was released in theaters, a set of 4 cards, being Pikachu, Mewtwo, Electabuzz, and Dragonite, were given special foil stamps that read, Kids WB presents Pokemon the first movie. By buying a ticket to the movie, you could get one of these 4 promos. However, some of these cards had the foil stamp printed upside down and on the other end of the card. It's not known exactly how many of these were given out, but it must have been a pretty small number, because these cards can easily fetch hundreds of dollars online. Well, that's just about it for my second installment of Pokemon card errors. I'm not sure when the next one will be out, but I will be doing plenty of videos on the Pokemon Sun and Moon TCG when that comes out, so you can look forward to that. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!